There once was a little girl who loved to gaze at the stars. As she peered up into the night sky where they reigned, dazzled by their heavenly throne, she felt such a connection, such a wonder, and such a curiosity that it was as if she was being embraced into the living mystery of the universe. The more she looked up, the more she forgot about who people said she was, and the more she saw the burning, raw, savage beauty of the stars reflected within her and the rest of humanity. It was when she locked eyes with the stars that she felt united with the secrets of creation and was filled to the cusp with the joyous freedom of being completely at home within herself. Brimming with confidence and buzzing with clarity, she loved the way they made her feel, like she belonged, had a home and a purpose in this great big universe. One day, she learned that some of the stars she gazed at had already passed away, and all that remained was the light it shined, a memory of its life that traveled so far. Then, as the stars winked at her from above, they told her a secret. Remember who you are. And she vowed to herself that she would remember them and that she would remember who she was. But as she gained more and more experiences on the planet she lived on, she forgot about who she was and where she belonged. As she grew, she forgot about the stars. She forgot to look up. Because life grew hard as she wrestled between clarity and confusion, as tear-stained fights between her parents made her feel like everyone was losing, so she locked it in her chest because Mama knows best, and other people didn't need to know what happened in our family nest. It's no wonder she grew depressed. She just wanted to confess and unleash the weight that's been dragging numbing needles in her chest, but she wanted to be a good daughter, so she mediated between them even though every failure mocked her, but she persisted, pretending she could fix it, fuse back the wounds, and resurrect the love that they had at the beginning of their marriage, before when the only thing that kept them together was their babies in the baby carriage. Her family was broken, the love seeping through the cracks, so she sewed on masks, holding everybody back, being quirky, joyful, just to get somebody to laugh, to feel appreciated. She molded herself into someone who would garner love and attention. She became obsessed with making others feel better so she can find some redemption. To escape, she lost herself in books, shrouded in fantasy, needing to live a different reality. She had made friendly acquaintances in school, but she barely even went, because reading happy endings was a time much better spent. As she grew, she pretended she was good. She pretended she was fine. She tried daily for her boobs to grow, but they were taking their sweet time. Even though she never had a boyfriend, she got along really well with guys, although sometimes there was pressure to be more. But honestly, she'd rather have some fries. Because really, what she missed was a man's heart, love, and fatherly protection and affection, not some unfamiliar boy sending her pics of his erection, because even though her parents were still married, she rarely got to see her dad, and it tore her up inside to see the separation make her papa so freaking sad. And there's so much more to tell you, but sometimes words just don't fit the truth they try to sell you. Her life seemed like a rutted cycle, but she had a strong heart, and it was God's love and humor that shone through and uplifted it when it fell apart. And one day he whispered to it, "Pour out what I've poured in." But first he took her family to Europe to take her away, give her some perspective, reconnect, and get out of her own skin. In that month-long stay, she spent long but numbing hours, crammed with her family and lots of luggage, in a tiny European car, experiencing things that once seemed so far, roaming through iconic places, the countryside and mountains, reconnecting with the world, and slowly dissolving her life's tar. As she started to reminisce and bit by bit remember who she was before she got thrown on the potter's disc, she started glowing, feeling really good, and I'm happy to say I think she finally understood that she had made her own heart a prisoner, that protecting it from the world had built a heavy-duty perimeter. But if she truly loved it, she'd have to set the little girl inside free. And I'm glad she did, because that little girl is me. Many things happened on that trip that I still remember to this day, and God had such a funny, curious way of coaxing me out to play. Because I am now that little girl again. I can drop the facades and no longer pretend. So now together, we'll weather life's hardships forever. Then soaring in that flying metal bird in the night sky home, I peered out the window. and the little girl in me gazed up, and my chest burst with so much awe that it got sore. For after so long, she finally got to see the stars and galaxies reigning on their inky throne, beaming as they welcomed her home, closer and more vibrant than ever before. I still experience many storms and rough patches to this day, but I still embrace my curious wild side. For instance, a tropical storm hit, so I joyously ran out into it, and there I had a moment that I remember so clearly. I was kneeling down on the rough sidewalk, head bowed as the rain drenched me to the bone, when I started to think about how the stars have to burn everything inside them in order to shine their light, and that if God told me to pour out what He poured in, then I would have to let go of my family's, society's, and my own expectations in order to reconnect and remember my true self, all while still honoring the experiences that sculpted me. So that way, I can reign here on earth as the stars do in heaven. I want to give everything I have inside of me and pour it out every day with courage, love, and kindness. So when I pass on, my light could live on and share the secret of remembrance. Then, the rain pouring over me, I knelt there, and a powerful thought thundered through my heart. Long may I reign. Then I looked up and smiled, because my name is Catherine Eileen Thompson, and it means pure, daughter of light and full of joy, and I am going to rule it.